Hello guys, today we are going to extract data from a form, which means analyze a form and extract data using Azure Form Analyzer. So for that I have implemented a React front-end application and Node.js backend application. So first of all we'll see how would be the output of this demonstration. So for that I'm using a bank slip as my form or application, and that is in image JPEG format. So I'm going to upload it and see what will happen. Here's the form, new form, and I'm going to upload it, and you can see a simple animation that it shows that is analyzing, which means we have sent it to our backend and there it is analyzing. So once the analysis is completed, it will display the details here. So now it is displaying these data which are extracted from this form, and we'll see those data are correct. The amount is 35,000 and the name is correct, and seems all the details are correct. So you might think, what is the purpose of analyzing this kind of a slip or this kind of form? What's the purpose of doing such thing? Think that it is easy to analyze or extract data if there are very few number of forms or very few number of receipts. But think a situation that there are a lot of forms, lot of receipts, and we want to analyze them, we want to extract the data from that and store in a database. So it's not a simple thing. It's not a It is very time consuming thing if we do that and extract data and store once again all this data. Example, we will take the pandemic situation in the world, and there are so many things happening, and collect so many data from the people and about the vaccines and many other things. So these things are done manually. So but we want to get an idea how these things are going on, and we want to collect this data and analyze the data for better decision making and other purposes. So how we can do these things? It is not possible to read and extract the data and store them in the databases manually for thousands of files, thousands of applications, thousands of forms. So we can use a solution like this for scanning those applications, or simply take a photograph and it will analyze the application and give us all the data, extract all the data and give us. Then we can simply upload them to store them in a database. At the same time you might think that we only we can only upload the files using image format, but we can use PDF format also as our input. So that's the thing we are going to implement today. So we will see how we can do this thing, how we can create Azure Form Analyzer, and how we can connect it with our front-end application and back-end application. So let's move. So this is the official website that shows the details about Azure Form Recognizer, and we'll scroll down and see what there are. We can find the capabilities of Azure Form Recognizer, simple extraction, customized result, and many more things. And there is example about that, JSON file format, the output with JSON file format. You can go to this website and see more details. So when we consider about form recognizer in Azure, there are some pre-built models, pre-built forms, and we can use those to, without training, we can use that models to analyze and extract data from our images or our PDF that contains forms. Or else there are another type that we can custom forms, which means we have to train a model and use that. There are some other features like layout. We can identify tables, checkboxes, objects from Azure Form Recognizer. However, we are not going to discuss about that today. we are going to discuss is custom form. So let's go to this link and see what there are. So when we train a model for custom models, we have to train the model because after training we can extract data from our forms. So that training we have two methods. We can do that with two methods. First one is we can train our model with the code, which means we have some codes and with that we can train the model, or the interesting method is we can use a labeling tool. By labeling tool we can analyze our form, we can train our form. So let's scroll down and get started with train with labels. We are going to that link. Side there are some videos and some details about how we can train a model using the labeling tool. For first of all, we need a form recognizer resource. For to create a form recognizer resource, you should have a Azure subscription. So you can create a free Azure account if you don't have, or else you can use the one that you have. So we are going to the Azure portal, and there in the home, so in this website there is a small video showing that model how we can train our model using the labeling tool, and there are some requirements that we should before we are train our model. So first of all, we need a form recognizer resource. So to create a form recognizer resource, we should have Azure subscription. So you can get a free one. For there are so many resources that you will get for first 12 months, and after that also you have some free resources that you can use on this cloud platform. So to create a Azure form recognize resource, we are going to Azure portal. So there are some services I think you might familiar with this portal. So Azure Form Recognizers comes under cognitive services. So we'll go to cognitive services, and there we are going to create a new resource and new, and then we should search form recognizer, and we'll search form recognizer. Mm, oh, it comes form recognizer, and then we create a form recognizer. We have to fill out some forms, fill out some fields, and we'll see how to fill those fields. Then we create, and here it comes our form, and we have to first of all we have to select our subscription, and I have selected one, and resource group. At the same time, region, we'll first see West Europe, and then name for our will some name and some meaningful name. Then we have present here, and in this region you the standard is not is having, but if you change the region to, we'll see West Central US, there you get one free. If not, there you have 500 pages per month, 20 calls per minute for recognize API, one call per minute for training API. So there's a free tier, and we'll select for we will choosing free tier for that, and then review and create. And you have to create because I have already created a form recognizer resource, and I'm not going to create it once again, and it will take some time to create this resource. And after create these resources, we are going back to the website that we were, which means this website which describes about train a form recognizer model with labeling tool. And when we scroll down, we can find the tool which we are using to label. our form. So to try out the form recognizer sample labeling tool online, go to this website, and this is the link. When we click the link, we are going to this website. Here we have a pre-built model to get data, use layout to get text and tables, and today we are going to train and use a model with labels. Then we click add a new project. The display name will be some name. We will put form recognizer and security token. Generate new security token. It will be automatically. And source connection, select connection. We have to add a connection. So for what we need a connection? Because we have to take images to analyze, we have to take images to train our model. From where we are taking images, and we'll see what we have when we go to connection. So there we have to create a connection name. We will give new connection, new, and the description, it is not required, and provider. The provider is Azure Blob container. So we have to create a Azure Blob storage also when we use this Azure Form Recognizer using this tool. Then we have to get the shared access signature URI from Azure Blob container to access from here to Azure Blob storage. Once again, we have to go to the portal, and I think you all got about how to create a form, and there we have storage accounts. And when we go to storage accounts, we can go to new and create a blob storage new. They're also the same thing, they are asking about the subscription and the resource group and a name for the storage and where is the location. It is standard or premium. And blob storage, we can select blob storage, and that's after filling all these fields we can review and create. It will take few minutes to create the resource, and once it is created you can go to the Azure blob storage, and then you can get the shared access signature. So I have already created some storages, and for this project I am using storage for form analyzer. I'm going to this resource, I'm going to this blob storage, and there I have containers. Inside that containers I have train images. Inside this train images container, so you can add, I forgot, you can add containers, and for that containers you can add your images that you are going to train. And I have created a container called train images, and inside that I have images. At least you should have 5 images to train the model. So here you can go to the storage form analyzer, and how we can go the shared access signature. We will right click. How we can, when your resource is created it will show in storage accounts, and I have already created some blob storages. And for this, once the resource is created it will list here, and I have already created some blob storages. For this project I am using storage for form analyzer, this blob storage. Then you have to go to containers and create a container, add your images. For an example, add container and give a name, and then you can add your images that you are going to use for training the model. And I have add them into this train images model, train images container, and you can also create a container and add the images. Then we need how we can get the shared access signature. For that, I am going to Storage Explorer, and there's Blob container, and this is the container that I have my images. Get shared, right click on it and get shared access signature. Then we can find access policy, and we need read, add, create, write. We will tick them all, it is not needed. However, then the start time and expiry time, we have 1 day here, and then create. When it create, it comes here, and we can get the URI. This is the shared access signature URI. So we copy that and go to here and paste it here. Then it's okay, and there's warning: cross-domain resource sharing must be enabled on Azure Blob Storage account in order to use it as source or target connection. More information on enabling cross-domain resource sharing can be found on this link. How we can enable cross-domain resource sharing? For that, we go for that there is cross-origin resource sharing, and there you can create a new policy here. So allowed origins, all allowed methods, then you can select the methods except patch, and allowed headers, expose headers, and max age. Like this you can create a policy, and you must create like this before creating the connection. So after creating this, also we are going back to our connection settings, and the display name is okay, description is you can create something, and provider is Azure Blob container, and this is the shared access signature, and we will save the connection. Once the connection is saved, we are going to home, and once again new project, and the connection is coming new folder path. For that, then we need form recognizer URI. How we can get the form recognizer URI? For that, we have to go to our form recognizer resource, and under cognitive services on Azure portal, we have uh, my this is the form recognizer resource that I am going to use. There we can find the URI from keys and endpoints. So our endpoint, we will copy that and paste it here. Then we need API key. There are two API keys. We will copy the first one and paste it here. And the API version is v2.1 preview to default. And there's a special thing that I should tell you about this, and I will tell it later. And now we save our project. Then we will get the images that are in our Azure Blob storage to this side, and from here we are going to label and extract data from this tool. And how we can do this? In here we are going to add new tag, and there we are going to name it as year, and another tag month. We need another tag date. amount and then name. Likewise, we can add the tags that we want, and then you can show you can see that there are text are highlighted here. So I want to highlight the year and then click on year, then it will become 2020, and we are setting to that as the data type as integer because 2020, otherwise it will give with the spaces, and the month is 12th, and I will click on month and highlight the date 19th and click on date, and then this is the account number, and sorry, this is the account number. I think I should add another field. Create another tag account, and this is the account, then this is the name, and this is the amount. So here also I am going to change the data type to integer, and name is string, it's okay. Amount is also we will keep to integer, and date to integer. See how date to integer, and the month also for integer. So then we are moving for the next one. This is okay, and we are going to the next one, and it is running layout, and we can once again highlight the things. We have to extract the text and label the text. We have to do the same process for all the 5, or we can trade more than 5, but keep remember we have at least 5 images or PDF files to label. And to right now I have labeled all my files, and hope you also can do this. And we are going to next train our model, and we need a name for our model, and I'll give you I'll give new train, and it will take some time to train this model. Training is completed, and you can find the estimated accuracy for each tag. And if you are using more images, more files to train the model, the accuracy rate will be high. And then we move for the next step, and there you can find the model ID, model name, and created date and those things. And here I have created few models. It is not necessary, and you need this model ID when we communicate from backend application. And in the next tab we can check our model by uploading an image or giving a URL of a form to check the model. However, I'm not going to show that. You can try it out. And right now all the part from our form recognizer in Azure is completed. Now we have to communicate with that and extract the data from our backend application. So for that we need Azure client, Azure Form Recognizer client library for JavaScript. And there's one thing that I should say. From the date I'm uploading the video, there's a small problem because from the latest version it is not supported with the version that we are creating the form. Because I showed before in here the version that we create is, if we go here and open the settings, you can find we'll see connection in here. The API version is v2.1 preview 2. However, if the version, when we get the latest version installed, it will give an error message that it says the API don't matches the API with the trained model. So we have to get this version 3.10 beta version, and it matches with our train model API version. So when we click on that from this link, it is said that this package target Azure Form Recognizer Service API version 2.x. So we can use this from the latest version. Now when the date I am uploading the video, it is not supported, but when you are watching this video it might support, so this might change. And however, you have to match the version that you are going to train the model, and the version you are the API version you are going to extract the data from the form recognizer. However, you can install the packages. I think all of you know how to install these packages, and this is the version you should install. If you are install the latest version today, it will not work and it will give an error. This is our backend application, backend Node.js application, and hope you are knowing the basics things. And I am only going to show how we can use the Azure Form Recognizer in here. The code that we want is also available in the previous site. I means the Node npm package install site, and if we scroll down here we can find it. Where is it? Custom model. We need custom model, so we search for custom models, and it is here. So this is how we can recognize forms using custom model. This is the code, it is available, and you can copy paste and make the changes that are needed. So I also have copy paste it and make the relevant changes. This is I have created a separate function to form recognizer, and there you have to provide the endpoint. Endpoint means the form recognizer endpoint, and we have to get it from, once again, going to Azure portal and the cognitive services. Under cognitive services you can find the form recognizer resource that you created, and from there you can find, yes, oh, this is not my resource that I use for this project. This is the resource that I use for this project, and keys and endpoints, and there you can find the endpoint and just copy paste endpoint and paste it here. Then you need the API key also taken from here, key 1, and the model ID is taken from the place where you train the model. And if you go here, there you can find the model ID and copy it and paste here the model ID. Then you need a file to analyze and extract data from data. So we need to create a file stream. So we want a file path, and for this function, recognize form function, we are giving the file path, and from that file path we are getting the file stream and we read the file stream. So after reading the file stream, I will explain the process. And first we need to create a form recognize client, and by giving endpoint and Azure key credentials, API key, and then we start form recognizing and extracting data. For that we are giving our model ID, and I think there's nothing to change after giving these in the top of the function, and the file stream, and the content type is image just. And if you want to give PDF type, you can give PDF type also. While it is on progress, it will print several times on the console about the status, and once it is done, we are going to print these details. All these are printing in the console. If you don't want, you can remove these, and they're printing the pages about pages numbers, tables, and these things. the all these things are print in the console, and after that also these fields are also in printing in the console. What are the fields in our form, and what are the values, and what are the confidence of that values, like that they are printing on the console. And after that we are returning our form means the data here, forms equal weight and polar pole until done. From that we get the data and we return this to our front end. So as I created a separate function, I return back to the main function these things. So you can implement these things in a different way. However, I am for ease I am implement like this here. And in here, if there are no files, it will send there are no files were uploaded. And if there are files, it will take the files from request files and files. And after that we temporarily upload that file to a location, and once this analyzing is completed we are removing that. And if you want, if you can upload it to Azure Blob storage, and from that you can analyze. However, I am not going to use Azure Blob storage here. Then we are calling the recognize form and giving this path where we uploaded temporarily that file, and then the result is returned. We are sent it to our front end. I hope you all can understand, because I'm not going to tell this in detail as this is not just tutorial. So then we are moving how this is done in front end. Here I have created a multi-part form data and send it to backend application. Hope you can understand those things and how to create and add the form data, add the files to that. When I click the upload button, these things are done. And the I think that is there's nothing special to here describe here. And when the results is coming, when we call the API, and when the results coming, we will see how that is coming. So we will log that and see how that JSON file. Once again we upload one the new model, and here it is analyzing. And when we go to inspect more tools, developer tools, we can get this, and still it is analyzing, and now it's coming. And when we go to that, here's the out data that we want, data, and under that output, and zeroth one there are fields, and this is the field, these are the fields that we need from our form: account number, amount, name, date, month, year. These are the fields that we want. So we want to get access to these fields. I think all of you know about how to work with a JSON file like this. So when we have these values, we can set the state to change the values in here, or else we can from the backend we can upload it back to a database store. And likewise there are so many things to do. So today's video I want to demonstrate you how we can use this Azure custom form analyzer and create our own form and create our own model, train it with labeling tool very easily. And it's a very interesting thing. We don't need so much knowledge of coding, and there are all these codes are available. You can get these codes from internet. And hope you have gained something from this video, and I invite you to find out there are so many other features of Azure Form Analyzer and you can get the layout details, tables and checkboxes like that, and try out all these pages, and comment your ideas below in the comment section, and hope to meet you with another video soon.